It's Wednesday, September 28th. It's about 9 a.m. Gonna do a little trade review, a little trade recap on the trade that I took here in New York session this morning. So as always, just one trade per day. During the same time, always just trade New York session. And so just want to recap kind of what I was looking at this morning. So first off, if we look at the daily was in this area somewhat. Basically what I was anticipating is, since there was a high already created, I was anticipating it to continue bearish and break the low, which, as we can see, that ended up happening. 4 hour was bearish at the time. It had done like this massive wick up here, which was some sort of pump with some sort of news event that happened right around 6 a.m. I believe, and then it kind of closed back in that range on 30-minute on lower time frames and was continuing down. So I was anticipating the 4 hour to continue bearish with an ultimate goal of coming down into this direction. Huge move there, so highly unlikely to happen in one candle, but with kind of how it was printing, that was what I was anticipating there. So 1 hour, 30-minute, everything was kind of bearish. It was actually up in this range, and so on 30-minute, what I was looking at was just kind of like a breakout of this range. If price closed here and there was enough and it looked good enough to continue down here, that was a tradable range. Ultimately, it was looking for something below this area here to continue down and then ultimately come down in this direction. So okay, cool. So that was kind of what I was looking at. Now what happened is huge volume came in at the 7 a.m. Candle. All the lows were being broken, and so what I did was I looked at 15-minute and I was like, okay, cool. So 15-minute closes, we get a wick up and come down, that will be a good entry. But I decided to look at the 5-minute and see if there was a way that I could catch this move to continue down in this massive range that we have here. And so basically what I was looking at was 5-minute came down, formed a very, very, very weak support, and I was looking at, okay, cool, if it breaks the low, we should continue down enough for me to at least secure set stops at entry and be able to continue on with the day. And that was just basically trying to catch volume, a little bit of a FOMO trade there, to be honest. But like I said, I dropped down to smaller time frames, try to see if there's any type of confirmation that I could execute on. So yeah, I mean, as we can see, this ultimately did play out. So if we look at the break the low, that would have been like the entry, and then this candle, was 19 pips or so. So definitely would have been able to secure 10 pips there and continue on with my day. And like I said, I was looking at, okay, cool, this closed weak bullish, showing a weak support. So if this candle right here broke the low right here, then I was going to execute, which it did, and you can see like kind of how my trade was executed there. Now, however, there was a couple of things that happened on my side where I kind of fucked up. And so basically what happened was I noticed, like, okay, cool, I have like my typical, like my normal lot sizes settings in Magic Keys, so I needed to change that to a reduced risk because I knew this was a little bit of a FOMO entry. So I wanted to make sure that if I was going to take this entry, I was going to at least reduce risk in hopes that it wouldn't be able to retrace. As you can see, I had like a 24 pip stop loss, so a little bit larger than I want to have in general, and not to mention this is on 5 minutes, so it's like weak confirmations. So while I was changing my lot sizes, the low was broken, and that's when this move happened. So that's when that bottom wick happened, was when the low broke. It pretty much broke and just dumped down into fill that little range there, or create that little bottom wick there, and it started to reject from there. And so by the time I had my lot sizes straight, it came back up. I said, okay, cool, I'm just going to enter anyways. It should fill that wick again and continue down as long as this high is respected. And so that's, kind of where I fucked up. I should have accepted the fact that I missed this move. Cool, it broke the low, it went down 20 pips, but I missed that move. I didn't execute on it at the exact time that I was anticipating, and because of that, my entry was a FOMO entry. It retraced, and I was like, okay, cool, it should go back down, it should fill that wick and continue down. However, that was dumb because, like I said, the move already happened. The move that I was anticipating already happened. I shouldn't expect it to happen again unless I had confirmations that it was going to happen again. So that's where I screwed up there. But had I taken the original entry I planned on taking, I would have hit it no problem. It would have been a beautiful day. That literally would have been like a 1-minute trade, and that would have been amazing. So the good news is I'm not mad that I took that loss because I know that setup worked out, and I know that that setup's going to happen again in high volume sessions, maybe news events. The same thing is going to happen again, and next time I'm going to be more confident in executing on that move. So that's the plus side of this move, and that's ultimately why I wanted to do this little recap here. But yeah, long story short, I was risking 24 pips as it, rejected back into kind of like the range that it was creating here on the 5-minute. I closed 50%, and then the new 5-minute candle went straight up to my freaking stop loss, took me out, and came down to basically reconfirm the move. I wouldn't have entered on that if I would have accepted this miss here. I probably would have just sat back and just been like, I missed the entire move. Let me see, if I can find some other confirmations for something to happen that I like to see, going forward. And looking at it at this point, it's about, it's 9 a.m. So I would be looking to exit the charts at this time anyways. Had I not taken this move, if I still had a trade that I was willing to take, I would exit the markets at that time. So with this said, to me, there's really no confirmation here that there would have been another option during New York session. The only thing that you really could have looked at here is after this candle closed on 15-minute is maybe a wick up, and then take an entry as the lows broken to catch this ultimate move that came down. But even that would be a little bit risky. If I looked at this candle as a 15-minute close, I would just basically say, okay, cool, I missed the move, I need to wait for some sort of support to form, which did form, and then to come up, create a resistance and continue down, which you can see this is kind of happening now. So maybe that would be the trade to execute on during New York session, like the optimal trade that happened, or trade idea that happened in this session. But yeah, so that's just kind of like what I'm seeing here. Overall, a lot of volume, a lot of volatility in the market. I know there was like some GBP news or something that ultimately caused this move. But yeah, so the idea that I had would have definitely played out. Like I said, the problem that I had was simply the fact that, when the low was broken, I didn't execute when it actually happened. And so I missed the move that I was expecting to happen. And, when I came up, create that FOMO entry, or took that FOMO entry, price just ultimately rejected because I had already missed the move. So, like I said, the win, the positive with all of this is that I know that in the future, the same move's going to happen even on 5-minute, on really all time frames, but I'll be more confident in executing on that if it happens in the future. So hope you got some value here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, shoot me a comment, and catch you on the next one. Peace.